everybody, how's it going today? Ian back here with the Entertainment Examiner. Hey, today I'm going to be reviewing the movie Battle of the Sexes, about the tennis match between Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King that took place in the early 1970s. This is a really good movie, directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris, who wrote the terrific Little Miss Sunshine back in 2006. And if you haven't seen Little Miss Sunshine, I highly recommend it. It's also written by Simon Beaufoy, who's written a variety of things. This movie stars recent Oscar winner Emma Stone and Oscar nominee, one of my personal favorite actors, Steve Carell, in the title roles. Billie Jean King becomes one of the most famous tennis players at the time. And Bobby Riggs, who is retired and working in just kind of a business job, really longs for, for his tennis days again with his wife, played by Elizabeth Shue. And he comes up with a challenge, a battle of the sexes, and he comes across as a very chauvinistic, misogynist pig. Many are calling him in the movie, and he kind of plays up the whole thing in a variety of montages and costumes and things like that. And of course, as history tells us, Billie Jean King, of course, was younger at the time. I think she was in her late 20s, and Bobby Riggs was like in his mid 50s, if I remember that correctly. And she beat him fair and square. Now, this movie has a great cast. Elizabeth Shue, you have great supporting work by, just so many different actors. Specifically, Bill Pullman as the manager of the tennis association, who dumps the ladies' team because, as we see in the beginning of the movie, the prize money that they would win would be like 8 times less than what a man would get. And Billie Jean King's group is headed by Sarah Silverman's character, who is also very good here. We have tons of supporting actors, as I said. Alan Cummings is really good here. And there's just, it seems like every time you look, there's a different, someone recognizable, either a name or someone you would know from being in a variety of movies. Now, the movie itself is good. The movie concentrates a lot on Billie Jean King's sexuality and her coming out at that point to herself, and afraid of what that would be, how that would be perceived. She's married to her husband Larry, but coming out would, of course, damage her career in the early 1970s. And much of the movie concentrated on that, and then her look at women's rights, and then later LGBTQ rights as well. I liked a lot of that. I thought maybe it seemed more like, at times, a Billie Jean King biography than a story of these two, and how the match is set at the end, which is a very good scene. I felt that the end tennis match between King and Riggs was very well done, very engaging, and there was some great news footage at the time that they showed with Howard Cosell. The makeup for both Carell and Stone was awesome. They showed real footage of King and Riggs at the end, and they really do look like their characters that they portrayed. It's almost uncanny at times. I think that Carell is a great actor, and he does terrific work here again. And I think Emma Stone again might even deserve Oscar consideration, as I think this is actually a better role for her than her work in La La Land last year that she won for. Overall, I enjoyed Battle of the Sexes. I don't think it's anything like earth-shattering or mind-blowing or anything like that, but I think it's a good movie telling of this story that I personally like. History movies, I think I've said this before, that I didn't live through, or that I don't know really anything about. And it, of course, was one of the most watched televised events of all time, so I definitely think it's a story worth telling. And it's a great story about King and her rise, and the treatment of women back then, and how they were poorly treated and unfairly treated, and all the sexism that went on, especially by Bill Pullman's character. And how it's also interesting to look at Bobby Riggs in his later years, and how his marriage and his gambling addiction really was not faring well on him in his personal life as well. So I definitely recommend Battle of the Sexes. I'm going to give it a B plus, a 3 stars out of 4, which is a good rating for me. Means I really enjoyed it. I definitely think it's one to check out in the theater. So if you get a chance to check out Battle of the Sexes, I definitely would, especially if you lived through this time, or maybe even like me, if you didn't, you would find it even more interesting. So that's a brief review, but definitely all I wanted to say on that one. So thank you guys so much for watching on Entertainment Examiner. I appreciate all the subscribers I've gotten so far, and I would love some comments. I'd love to hear feedback on what you guys think of these movies. I'm a big movie buff myself, as you can see around me. So, I always love to hear what other people think of these movies as well. So like, comment, subscribe. And that is all I have for this week. So thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.